holiday season, so of course I want Santa romances. Greetings and salutations, my dearest friends. My name is Samantha, and today I'm going to be recommending a bunch of Santa romances. Hello, how are you? Welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to Trope Week, my dear friends. If you don't know what Trope Week is, it is a series I do here on my channel where every day for an entire week where I recommend a bunch of romances, really focusing on specific tropes. I will have the playlist linked down below if you want to see all the Trope Week videos I've done in the past. I've done nearly every trope, like second chance romance, poly romance, reverse harem, fantasy, romantasy, just everything, right? So I'll leave it down below. But today is a holiday themed video, and I'm going to be talking all about Santa romances. I have romances where the character is literally Santa Claus, and then I have some fun, unique ones where like you have like mall Santas or Santa's helpers, if you will. You'd be surprised, babe. There's actually a lot of romances that feature Santa Claus, so we're just gonna go ahead and talk about all of them right now. Also, I'm wearing my Mickey Mouse Christmas shirts to add some festivity to this video. I love how my background is like all strawberries and not at all Christmas themed, but like I have a red lip and like a Mickey and Friends Christmas shirt, so I'm still in theme. Grab your hot cocoa and your cookies or your treat of choice, and let's dive into these recommendations. I'm not playing around. This is very serious business. The first one I want to recommend is one of my favorites, and it's actually a female Santa, which is even more sexy, and that is Her Night with Santa by Adriana Herrera. I actually talked about this book in my last video where I was featuring a bunch of sapphic holiday romances. Really loved filming that video, so I'll leave that video down below if you want some recommendations. But this one has a female Santa. The whole series is so great to read during the holiday season because it follows different romances of toy runners. Christmas and the holidays is so different for every culture, and not everyone celebrates Christmas. What the Toy Runner series does, it kind of follows different cultures and different versions of Santa, which is really fun. This one of our heroines is a business mogul, and she actually, you know, sells some toys herself, but like the sexy kind. And she's looking to really take a break during the holidays, and she ends up staying at a family friend's house. She is really well connected within the toy runner community. She ends up staying at this house. Well, it turns out that it's actually Santa's vacation home. Our other heroine is literally Santa, and she is coming off of the busiest time of the year, really looking to relax. So she's headed to her vacation home, and lo and behold, she finds our other heroine having some fun. Okay, having a really fun time with herself, and she ends up joining in, and it follows their very sexy, steamy romance. I love it so much. Another one where a character is literally Santa Claus is The Naughty List by Ellie Mae McGregor. So our heroine is going through a difficult time. She's going through a really bad divorce, and her ex-husband is trash. Garbage, and he ends up purposely gifting their children this amazing vacation on a cruise, just like super elaborate, super fun during Christmas, to make sure that her children are not spending Christmas with her. Okay, trash. So our heroine is feeling lonely. She's spending the holidays by herself, and it decides to just cuddle up on her couch and read her Kindle. And guess who just shimmies their way down the tree? Santa Claus. Santa Claus is a sexy man, it turns out. He is visiting their house to drop off some gifts for her kids, and she ends up waking up and catching him, and he is immediately drawn to her, and it follows their romance. We have a plus size heroine. We have a sexy man that is obsessed with her. I love. This is such a good Santa romance. Definitely one of my favorites, and you need to read it. Another one where the character is legitimately Santa Claus is A Kiss for Santa by Lila Monroe. This is a male-male romance. This one kind of reminds me of, which Santa Claus is it? I feel like it's Santa Claus 2, I think. Because Santa Claus 1 is like the intro. Santa Claus 3 is Jack Frost. Yeah, Santa Claus 2. You know Santa Claus 2, where Santa Claus has to get married and find a Mrs. Claus or he will lose his magic? Tragic. That's essentially this book. Hero Magnus is Santa Claus, and he has to get married and fall in love or he will lose all of his Christmas magic. He's been hopelessly in love with our other hero, Luca, who has really lost the magic of Christmas and the joy of Christmas himself. Our hero Magnus decides to court him, and the two of them really find the magic of Christmas together. So romantic. I love it. Such a good Santa romance. This one is probably the more sweeter book out of all of the romances that I'm going to recommend. A lot of these are novellas that are like steamy and smutty and just a good time. Like, you know the drill, you know what it is. None of the books are like really trying to take anything serious, but this one is actually very romantic. So if you're looking for a more sweet, less steamy read, I mean, it is still steamy, then this one would be the one for you. Next one is a novella, and it is Toasty Inside by Zoe Mona. This one follows our heroine Cynthia, who is headed back to her small town for the holidays. She decides that she's going to surprise her family for Christmas. She's really feeling nostalgic and wants to recreate a lot of memories from her childhood. And when she was younger, she remembers like hiking up to this mountain, going sledding, making snowmen, all of these vibes. So she's hiking up this mountain for nostalgic purposes, and she ends up getting lost in like the middle of a snowstorm. Hero ends up saving her and taking her back to his cozy cabin, and our hero happens to be a toy maker, but like sexy toys, and the two of them spent a really steamy time together in this cozy cabin. It has small town romance vibes, forced proximity, takes place during the holidays, just everything you need. Technically, he is not Santa, but he is Santa adjacent. Okay, so we're including that in this video. All right, the next two that I am going to recommend to you actually feature mall Santas, which is kind of interesting. So the first one is Santa's Favorite by Madeline Taylor. This is another sapphic romance. One of our heroines works at a department store, kind of similar to like Nordstrom's or Macy's, and she's a professional shopper. It's retail, so she's really busy during the holidays. Busy shopping for people and packing gifts. It's retail, so she is very busy during the holidays and kind of like lost the magic of Christmas and is not excited about Christmas at all. But they end up getting a new mall Santa in the department store, and she kind of like notices the mall Santa looking at her, and the mall Santa's kind of sexy. Turns out to be another woman, and the two of them have crazy chemistry. This is another one that is just a short, steamy novella. If you're looking for a good time, sapphic romance, this is it. Santa's Favorite by Madeline Taylor. Another mall Santa would be Santa's Helper by Shay Sanders. Our heroine is going through a really messy divorce, okay? And it is her ex-husband's turn to have the kids for the holidays. So she's really trying to do all of like the Christmas traditions before Christmas actually happens, and it's really important to her that she takes her family Christmas pictures at this specific mall. Growing up, she always took her family Christmas pictures at this mall because they had a black Santa. It was one of her parents' family friends that would do these pictures. She ends up going to take these pictures and finding out that the person who used to be the black Santa has passed away. However, his son has kind of taken up the mantle and the tradition. Heroine and our hero do actually know each other because they kind of had like a flirtationship in high school. They both really liked each other, but nothing really came of it, and they lived separate lives and married other people, but now they are both single and a little bit older and kind of looking for a second chance at love. So she ends up being Santa's helper for the weekend. Another one that is, again, I would consider Santa adjacent is Sunday's Child by Grace Draven, and this is a fantasy romance. Grace Draven writes like the best fantasies. So in this one, it follows our hero who is from the Fae realm, and he ends up losing favor of the royal kingdom. Kind of pisses off the king of the Fae realm by sleeping with one of his mistresses, and he gets banned for like hundreds of years. And his punishment is to help Saint Nicholas, like the Saint Nicholas. So he's essentially like an elf, one of Santa's helpers. As he's kind of going on the toy run, he ends up meeting a family that has a child who can see past his magic. This child is really special though. They are known as what is called a Sunday's Child, where they truly believe magic exists and like have such a pure heart. The hero cannot stay in the human realm though, so years and years pass, and then he ends up seeing our heroine again when she is a lot older. Now she is an adult with a child of her own. She is an archaeologist who helps preserve ancient artifacts, and our hero actually ends up helping her in the human realm, and it follows their romance, and it is just so romantic. Like, I feel like I didn't even do that synopsis justice, because it's really following our hero as he is finding the beauty in humanity and it really feels like a soulmate bond that these two characters have. It's really such a unique story, and I highly recommend it. So I'm considering this Santa adjacent because he literally works with St. Nicholas in this book. Since we're talking about Santa romances, I do have a couple of Krampus romance, which is like the opposite of Santa. If Santa is bringing all of the toys to good girls and boys, Krampus is doing the opposite, okay? He is punishing all of the ones on the naughty list, which could be a really fun time for a steamy Christmas romance. So there are a couple of authors who have just like very steamy romances of Krampus punishing the good and the bad girls and boys. One of those is A Very Krampus Holiday by Katie Roberts. It's just a really steamy, smutty novella. Like, it's just pure smut. And then another one is There Rose Such a Clatter, Tales from the Naughty List by Siemens Costa. This is a short novella following all of the adventures of Krampus during Christmas time. And then one that is really fun is The Omega's Krampus Christmas by Lori Lee M. Hart. I've read a couple of books by this author. She writes a lot of Omega verses, and this one is fun because it's a male Omega verse, but it's also like a Krampus holiday romance. So one of our heroes was like an elf or some ancient being in the past, and he was cursed to be Krampus. Somehow our other hero Jordan ends up getting on his list, and he visits his house, but it turns out that Jordan is good. Like, he is as good as they come. He works at the local children's hospital. He is kind. He is just the best Omega ever. Krampus is like kind of confused as to why he's being sent to this house, but it follows the romance. This one is like a sweeter version of Krampus, and it's Omegaverse, so obviously it's a fun, steamy time. But yeah, I really liked this one if you're looking for a unique Krampus retelling. Alright, so those are all of my Santa and Krampus romances. I hope you guys found some to read in this holiday season. If you have any books that are kind of like Santa themed, let me know in the comments down below. I would love to read them. If you have stayed this long in the video and you enjoyed it, leave me a Santa emoji. Obviously, we have to pick the Santa emoji. Leave that in the comments down below if you stayed this long, and I'll know that we're bookish besties. I hope you guys are enjoying Trope Week so far, and also Vlogmas, where I'm posting a video every single day for the month of December. So if there are any tropes or videos that you want me to film, let me know, and I'll totally do it. So yeah, I love you guys so much. Thank you for taking time out of your day to spend time with me. It means the world to me. I hope you guys are all staying happy and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!